going on, everybody? I'm Lorenzo. You can call me Zoe. This video is basically for anybody to check out, but mainly want to talk to the women today who are looking for a man, or who are kind of stuck on what type of man to look for. The qualities that they're looking for in a man, which is very important in today's day and age. I appreciate you taking the time to peep out this video. My messages are all for men and women who just want to level up in life when it comes to, relationships within themselves, people who want to be inspired on the daily, who are, going through the grind every day. You know what I'm saying? Just going through stuff. Maybe my take on things can help somebody out. That's always my goal. My goal is to bring value and see if there's anything I can do to help somebody out there in the world, right? So yeah, once again, just want to talk to mainly the ladies about what to look for, in a man. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to feel safe and secure in a relationship. So men want to feel like, they're in a relationship with a woman that they can depend on, that's going to be loyal, and that's going to have their back and support them, and be somebody that, always, look, they want to look for somebody that has their back at all times, when things get hard and things like that. So women generally, I know that women want to feel safe. Okay. And, I've been in the dating game for over 2 decades now. So, I've been around, I dated quite a lot of women, and I know what they're looking for. And, so if I had to break it down for y'all, make sure that you're with a guy that is not afraid to keep his word. So if he says he's going to do something, most of the time he's going to do what he says. Okay. You might be dealing with a guy who's really busy and has a lot going on, and he might be running several businesses, and he's really driven in life, and he's on his purpose, he's on his grind, he's on his mission, right? But you can count on the fact that if he says he's going to do something for you, or if he's going to be somewhere, whatever the case may be, most of the time he's going to stick to it, right? So if he messes up once, don't write him off completely. We all have crazy lives, and we're busy and stuff like that. So he may have had an off day, whatever the case may be, right? So you want to make sure that you give him some chances, make sure that most of the time he's going to stick to what he says, all right? A man of high integrity. What that means with integrity is a guy who has strong values and will stick to them, and he also has expectations on other people, right? And he expects them to stick to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what having integrity is all about. It's about being true to the values that you hold dear and that are very important to you, and also holding that standard to other people. And I'm repeating myself, but that's pretty much what having integrity is, and just, try to find a guy who has a purpose greater than himself, right? Because as men, we generally want to create value in the world, and we want to, make a mark. We want to do big things. We want to create, right? And that's what God tells us to do. God tells man to create, right? To, be fruitful in the world, and to produce. Make sure you're with a guy who's a producer, who's serious about, his work and his, what value he's trying to serve to his community or to his colleagues, in his profession, because it shows that he's a hard worker. Okay. And if you were to have a child with him in a family, you can count on him to go out there and work and provide for the family. It's very important for a man to do that. So make sure you find a guy who's purposeful in all of that. You definitely don't want a lazy guy, because when times get hard and maybe you got a couple of kids and stuff like that, he might not want to work as hard to try and make more money and stuff like that for you guys. So you don't want a lazy guy. You don't want a guy who's taking shortcuts. You don't want a guy who lies. You want a strong guy who isn't weak and he's prepared to, you know, lay his balls on the line and to go out there and get what he needs to get for the family. All right? So that's another thing. Make sure that he's not lazy, you know? Make sure you're with a guy who's calm in stressful situations, because that shows that he's rooted in his masculinity and his masculine energy. And, you know, shit can be hitting the fan and all chaos can be going on. And you as a woman, you might be feeling really unsettled and insecure about something, but he's like, hey, chill, we got it. You know, all we got to do is this, 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 and this. And, you know, we'll take it from there and we'll see what happens. Everything will be fine. You know, you want a guy who is strong like that. You know, my father was like that. My dad, you always felt safe around him. You know what I'm saying? You always felt safe. You always knew that if something was going to happen, if something was going to pop off, you knew you can just count on him to handle the situation. You felt safe. And I think that's what he taught me and my brother, my younger brother. And I definitely feel like I've taken on that role within my family and all of that. So, you know, because at the end of the day, man, it's about mentality, right? We live in a world where, let's just be real, everybody's competing. Everybody's like, you know, trying to survive, and everyone's just thinking about themselves. Let's just be real about it. You know what I mean? So, you know, everyone's trying to make it. Everyone has struggles. Everybody has problems. You know, we're living in a game. You know, I always say that life is a game. You just need to play it, right? Yeah, take things seriously. Yeah, you got to take things seriously, like having shelter, food, you know, paying bills, your health. Yeah, take those things seriously. But also know that we have a lot of things to take seriously. We got countless things. Parents getting older, parents might be sick, siblings might be sick, you know, whatever the case may be. We got kids. We have a lot to take serious, you know? So you need to make sure that you balance out your stress levels. You need to balance out your responsibilities to make sure that you can stay on point, you know, so you can lead your family and lead the people you need to lead and guide. So make sure you find a guy who knows how to balance all those things, and he's chill and he's centered in his masculinity. You know, he takes things seriously, but at the same time, he can laugh and joke around a little bit and have fun, right? That's important too. You don't want to be around a guy who's always serious, you know, always putting a downer on things. You want a guy who can make you laugh and joke around and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You want a guy who can make life enjoyable, you know? Also remember that, you know, I'm going to be real with you. Men, by nature, you know, we by nature are visual creatures, right? And if we're attractive and we're strong and masculine, and women are going to see that. You know what I mean? So if you're with a guy like that, if he's attractive, if you're an attractive woman and you've attracted him and you're attracted to him, chances are he's going to be attractive to other women too. So understand that, right? And that, you know, he's also going to be attracted to other women too. He's a strong male who's probably had women in his life, and you know, he's used to that attention and all that kind of stuff, and that having that drive and high testosterone and stuff that comes with the territory. So don't be a jealous, you know, girlfriend or wife. Just be loyal to him. Let him know you're always there. Be the best woman you can be for him, and he will not go anywhere else. If you're a really good woman, he knows that. He ain't going nowhere, right? Yeah, he might look at a girl here and there. He might see a woman who's beautiful or sexy walk by, and he might look. But as long as he don't, like, you know, approach her in front of you and try to, like, you know, get her number or something and act stupid and shit, like, weak, you know what I'm saying? He needs to be able to control himself, okay? You don't want a guy who's just gonna run around and have sex with anything he sees and, you know, and cheats on you left, right, and center and stuff like that and disrespects you. You know, you don't want that. Let's be real about that. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? But just understand that he will probably look, you know what I'm saying? And just make sure he don't disrespect you. You understand? Just make sure he don't disrespect you. Because men will be men. Let's just be real. Men will be men. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you're with him and like you have his children and things like that, he needs to respect you. And he needs to always show you that energy and that strong, close emotional connection, that you're the one, that you're the queen. You know what I'm saying? You're his queen, and that no other woman can sway him. You understand? So, and if you do feel insecure, maybe it's a you thing. Maybe it means that you need to work a little bit harder on yourself to be a better woman to him. Maybe that might be the case. You might need to work on being a little bit more loyal, a little bit more respectable to him. The way might be the way you speak to him, or things of that nature. Just work on all of that and be the woman that he needs to be, that good feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? And you'll strengthen your bond with him, because he'll see that every day and he'll go, damn, my woman is like she's on point. She's always got my back. She's loyal. She's feminine. She makes me feel good about myself. You know what I'm saying? She makes me feel like a king. You know what I mean? Which is what a woman should be doing anyway. A woman should make her man feel like he's a king, like he's powerful. Make him feel like he has status in this world. That's what it's about. Elevating his status in the world. That's what a woman's supposed to do, right? Support him. And then you know what will happen? He'll level up. He'll keep leveling up, and then he'll bring back, the fruits of his labor. You know what I'm saying? He'll work harder for you. He'll be more motivated and more driven to bring back resources for you. So that way, you can live better. So you don't have to work. So you and the kids have a better lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? That's what we work for. That's what strong, masculine, driven men work for. We work for that shit. We just want to give a great life to our women and our children. Right? So in return, we want respect. We want loyalty. You know what I'm saying? And we want to be elevated. You know what I'm saying? We want to feel like we can dominate in this world, because this world is kicking our ass sometimes, man. Let's be real about it, right? So I hope, you ladies get some good value from this. Definitely, if you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be coming out with a lot more good and raw information and value. And share this video to anyone that you think might be needing it or might get some value. All right. But yeah, we'll be touching on this a lot more in depth. And as I gain more insights and things like that pop up in my head, I'll definitely be sharing more. But yeah, hopefully you got some value in finding out, what to look for in a guy. All right, peace.